more excited than I can possibly share with you right now because you may have noticed there's a change of scenery. I am podcasting to you from Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. Many of you will be aware that I've been doing my round the world knitting tour, and I've been in New Zealand now for 2 weeks, and I just wanted to check in and do like a proper roundup podcast episode. So I don't have the normal stuff with me, but I just wanted to catch you up on what we've been doing. So if you're not aware of what's been happening, my sister Samantha, Sam, and I have been touring around New Zealand doing lots and lots of lovely knitty things, and we are exhausted, and Sam's been a bit poorly as well, which is a bit of a shame, but she's doing very well. Adjustment of approach there. And it's just been amazing. Today is the Monday the 3rd of September. We left on the 19th, and the reason why we came down here is for Knit August Nights, which happened a week ago in Napier. So to try and catch you up on everything would be absolute folly. I really have... Gosh, there's been so much stuff going on. We started off in Napier and just had a really, really lovely time. Marie Busky, who many of you will have seen in the video that I did launching my range of yarn. She's the lady who is the, I think, marketing manager, one of the shareholders at Skeins.com. Skeins with a Z at the end because it's NZ at the end, NZ. And she's the person who made all this happen for me. So I owe her a massive debt of gratitude. I also owe Helene a huge debt of gratitude. Helene from Happy Go Knitty, who is a wonderful yarn dyer. She is the person who first contacted me ages ago. You may have remembered I featured some of her Sikkim yarn base, which is yak and silk and merino. Really, really beautiful, beautiful yarn. And she got in contact with me and she sent me some of her yarn, and I spoke about it on here, and in the doing of it I said really nice things because it's really nice yarn, not just the base but her colours are sumptuous as well. She's got fantastic keen aesthetic for colour, just subtle grades of tone and yet really saturated jewel colours as well. She's just brilliant. I haven't done my hair today, I've just noticed that, so you're going to have to put up with Andy Pandy hair, a little bowl cut there. Oh well, I'm on the Olivobs, I don't care. So she was thanking me for the nice things I'd said, and I'd said to her, I don't need the thanks, I'm thanking you because the yarn is so beautiful, and I speak as I find. And she said, well, you should come down here and teach, I'm sure a lot of people would like to meet you. And I jokingly, this is all on Instagram, text, on Instagram I just said, if you know someone who can make that happen, I'm there. Now most people, not Helene, most people would have said, oh yeah, that'd be nice, yeah, we'll see what happens, and never thought anything about it. 3 seconds after I sent that message, I got one back and just said, I'll do some digging. I thought, oh, you're that kind of person. And in my heart, right then, in my heart, I knew I was going to New Zealand. 24 hours later, she put me in touch with Marie Busky, and who runs Knit August Nights and works at Skeins, and the rest is history. And I'm here, and I've done it. So we flew into Auckland at the beginning of the trip, Sam and I. We flew via Singapore, not going to Dubai for HIV obvious reasons. And we had an amazing trip over. It actually wasn't too bad. It was a 13-hour flight followed by a 11-hour flight, something like that. Wasn't too bad at all, didn't mind it. We had each other for company. What's lovely about this is Sam and I have not ever spent this much time together as adults or alone, kind of ever. We've got 3 weeks together, and it's just been really wonderful. As everyone will know, I've been through a tough year. Sam's had some trials this year as well, and we've really been there for each other. And it's been really, really, really lovely to... We've always been there for each other. We've really been there for each other this past 12 months or so, and we've helped each other out, and we've counselled each other, and we've been there on the phone, and we've been there in person, and it's bound us together much more than ever. So when it looked like the trip was going to happen and I was coming away to New Zealand, I said, it was Ben's idea actually, he couldn't come, and he said, why don't you ask your sister? I was like, oh my god, you're so right. So I did, and Sam had just moved into a new house, and had a little bit of spare cash, thankfully, and said I didn't need a new kitchen anyway. So she decided to come away with me. I'm so glad she did. I'm having an amazing time. It would be about half as amazing if I'd been doing it on my own. And a bit better than that if I'd been doing it with someone else, but lots as amazing because I was my sister, who I adore. So we arrived in Auckland, and Helene and her family, and Helene's sister Mia who's also a rather fine dyer herself, back in Sweden, was visiting. We spent time with them. We had a lovely time. Went up the Sky Tower. Didn't jump off. Looked a bit too scary and was very expensive. Thought, nah, I can't do that. Cut to about which more in a moment. And then we flew down to Napier and enjoyed Cannes. Cannes was, for me, it started on the Thursday with what was rather cringeworthily entitled A Day with Nathan Taylor, that people had paid good money to spend the day with me. If I said I felt like a crocheter, that's because crocheters are sometimes called hookers. Bit naughty. I'm not going to edit that out. You know me better than that by now. Sorry. And we had a wonderful time, actually. So we spent about 7 hours in workshop mode, and we had plenty of time. I started the day with some Knit Nerdism. Knit Nerdism is a class I am so excited to be teaching in America later on this year. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm going to say this out loud, so you understand it. It might become a book. The concept of Knit Nerdism is about going back to the fundamentals and the basics of knitting in a way that it's not teaching anyone anything new. It's just looking at things in a sort of logical, symmetrical and pattern-forming way. And it's really enlightening, and I'm starting to believe it's the basis of all of the classes I'm ever going to teach. It's all based on this Knit Nerdism concept. So we started with a bit of that, got the theory of that. I was sort of practicing, formulating and talking through, and people really started to get excited. People with eyes were glistening, not glazing, like sort of lighting up, and you could tell people were getting really excited about it, which is great. Then we did an extended version of the demystifying double knitting, and then afterward we took that into some one-pass brioche. So we had a lot of fun. We did loads and loads of different things. But after that, we all went for dinner together, and I sort of moved around from table to table, trying to spend as much time as I could with people. And it was going to be a sort of relaxing knit by the fire thing, but dinner took a while, so people started to drift after that. But it's been a 12-hour day with Nathan Taylor. So I now think of it in my head as just a day with, because completing the title is freaking me out a bit. It was Marie's idea. 15 people, you lucky, mad, crazy fools. Thank you so much for coming. It really was a lovely day. The next 2 days, I had 2 classes per day. Did demystifying double knitting and strand tarsia and shaping, the future of double knitting. Some amazing people. One of the classes in the shaping double knitting, which is sort of the next steps, I had so many different types of knitter in the room. There were continental knitters, combination knitters, people wrap their pearls the other way and have their stitches remounted. There were English flickers like me, English throwers, and Portuguese knitters, and of course droppers and wrappers. So we had so many different methods of knitting. It was quite a challenge for me to sort of give all the instructions in a way that was universal to everybody, but it made my brain work, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. So that was Cannes. Well, it wasn't Cannes. Cannes was about the people. Cannes, there were social events in the evenings. We went out for dinner. We spent time with Marie. Oh, I've got a special guest. Why don't we come in? Like we'll catch up with that later on. Come on in. This is Sam. This is my sister.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
We've met before.
I know. So, just a quick catch up. Sam and I both learned to knit as children, but neither of us sort of kept it up, and Sam started knitting again on the plane on the way down here. We started with a little sockling, which she hasn't continued with yet because she's been sidetracked with other things, but this is where it was going. Let me have a little look here. So this was the sockling here. She's part way down the heel flap. It's off the needles at the moment because we needed her needles. needle, for other things. If you're interested, this is the John Arbon Knit by Numbers 100% Merino. So, Sam, how was it learning to knit on a plane?
There wasn't a lot of room.
No.
But there wasn't a lot of distraction either.
That's true, we had plenty of time. We had no other responsibilities to do anything else.
No, I felt a sense of obligation.
Because you had a whip there in your hand.
No, because you were sat there next to me making me. No.
Okay. Very rude.
Now, having decided to come away with you on a knitting extravaganza, I decided it would only make sense to actually learn to properly knit.
I mean, you'd have had a lovely time, I think. We've done so many things that are sort of non-knitting related.
Definitely.
But I think you've had more fun because you've thrown yourself into the knitting world as well.
Yes, I've been very lucky. Obviously, I've been able to attend all of your lessons over and over again.
Lucky?
So the first...
For once, it was baby brother telling big sister what's what.
And very well as well.
Oh,
very, very excellent tutor.
Oh,
but no, it did. It was lovely to be able to go in there, and as you say, so many. I heard you say as I was coming in about Cannes not being just about the knitting; it's about the people. And this whole trip for me has been about the people. As a side issue, I've also learned to knit.
Yeah, and as a side issue, we've been here to knit. It's
yes,
that thing.
Yeah.
We've met some amazing people. So I've already spoken about Helene and family, and Mia and everyone else. And
Lovely,
I've spoken
lovely
about
people.
Marie and her family.
More lovely people.
What I haven't said is Marie's dogs. Renly and Rufus. Renly in the New Zealand parlance. Renly and Rufus are just adorable. Now, far be it for me to have favourites, but I did take a bit of a shine to Rufus. Rufus is a massive English Mastiff. He looks like this. And he is utterly, utterly huge. Sorry, finger. And Renly is a British Bulldog who is the fattest, pudgiest little sort of ball on legs. He's sort of like...
It waddles like a seal.
If you remember Will-O'-the-Wisp and you remember the Moog, how he used to run,
yes.
It's sort of like the legs don't really touch the ground.
That's exactly him.
But Rufus, honestly, he's like a lion. His head is huge like this, and they are just the most adorable, gentle dogs. And Rufus would just sort of come at you and sort of press against you. It's really, really adorable. So that was that, and we've talked about skeins, but I'm going to park what we've been doing, and I want to talk about you, because you've already accrued quite a stash, haven't you?
Yeah. I wasn't going to.
I don't need any yarn, I don't need any needles
fine,
yet.
I don't want anything.
One of the things that Sam we were both given actually, have I got that here as well? I might talk about the two together. But, oh yeah, I've got our little goodie bags from Skeins.
I've just got to empty it all out because I don't know what I've got in there anymore.
No, I'm not sure either. So this is going to be a little unstructured chat, but we've got quite a few things which are the same. So everybody at Cannes gets a goodie bag. Cannes is Knit August Nights, if I haven't made that clear. And this was the particular special type of bag for the people doing the day with. And other people got a different type of bag. In the bags, we stuffed most of the bags ourselves, didn't we? Well, in fact, all of them.
We did.
Partially
well, not
stuffed
the
all
Nathan,
of them. No, not these. These were
the other ones we did.
There were 270 bags, and the night before, Cannes actually happened, it was the night before the day with, wasn't it? It was Wednesday night. A load of people, maybe 12 people, came round to Marie's house, and she's got an enormous, great big long kitchen table, and we all sat round on benches, and we had a huge pile of stuff. I had some tassel cards, so like sample cards of yarn. Other people had some special offer cards, some people had some scratch cards, some people had mini skeins of yarn.
Badges, and pom-poms.
Pom-poms, you had your pom-poms, which we gave to Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this stuff in front of us, and so we had a huge production line going round, so we pass on a bag, shove something in, and all the bags were given to people attending the event. So in our bags, what did
a lot of my stuff isn't there anymore because I put it in my handbag and things like that.
So let's have a little look and see what's in here, because obviously these people are doing it for promotional purposes, and if this helps, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Hurry up!
sorry. There, it's gone.
Sam's not a podcast watcher, but what you won't know is that people despise crinkly paper because it really carries. You couldn't have known that. So who is this from? This is the Wetu scarf. This is from Harney Hooley's designs. Now, I spent quite a lot of time chatting to the people behind Harney Hooley. Hello. And it's this beautiful shawl pattern. I'm not going to show anything of it because it's probably proprietorial. Lovely, lovely shawl pattern there. And with it comes a little mini skein here. Oh, this is really lovely. I haven't actually taken it out. Silky Barlam, the base is. It's 50% silk and 50% merino, and this is a lace weight 2-ply, so this is 175 metres, and the colourway is called Can 18. So that's really, look at that, you see the way it's catching the light there, look at the sheen on that silk.
Beautiful.
Just really nice, and those,
I had the same.
the colours on screen there are looking at a slightly more greeny, it's sort of more of a blue in life, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So that's really, really lovely. And it's a beaded shawl, I believe, are the beads on there? I think
Yeah,
maybe the beads are possibly optional. They don't look like they're in the photograph, but I may be wrong on that. Got some little beads there. So that was really lovely. What else have you got?
Oh, that's
another
one.
Oh, so you've got a different
well,
design.
no, because I got the design in the bag.
I think Sam got special things given to her. I think.
It was
So
fantastic.
did you get? Is that just a pattern on its own, or did that come with a little skein of yarn as well?
This was a pattern on its own.
Right.
And I had all sorts of things. There were all sorts of. The one thing I couldn't get over is how generous everybody was at Cannes, and well, everywhere.
Yes.
But everywhere you got these things, and you'd have a magic number, and you could go and pick up some sweets, or pick up some yarn.
So this is from Happy Go Nitty.
This is from
Hillian that we were staying with, and I'm going back to visit in a couple of days.
That's right. And there were loads of competitions
More
and things
won,
about where to go and
You
eat.
won sweets, didn't you?
I did win sweets.
And there's all sorts of stuff going on. One of the things, oh look at this, a little needle gauge branded with Knit August Nights on it. Very, very useful. Have you got there?
Knitter's Patch Bumper sticker.
Yeah. Knitters, New Zealand, how brilliant. Lovely. Looks like it makes you look like a pirate.
It does.
Oh, that's from Vintage Pearls. Oh, do you know what? I hadn't put two and two together. Vintage Pearls is Morag from...
right.
From Dunedin. So I'm going to talk about Morag in a minute because I've got a very lovely gift from her. I spent much more time with Morag after Cannes. We didn't get a chance to really connect while we were there. Big bag of sweets. These sweets were everywhere. Marie, you can see it's got the Knit August Nights logo on it. Marie had spent, I don't know how much she spent, but they were massive, great big boxes of these sweets in huge bags. And do you know what? This is going to make you laugh. In my pocket, I think it's in my pocket. In my other trouser pocket, I found in the bottom of my bag one of these tangy passion fruits, which has become our favourite, and I saved it for you. I was going to say, oh, I found one of these, and now I've just found another big bag of the orange ones here. Lovely, really nice. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. What have you got there? Maniototo wool. So these are the ones I was stuffing in the bag. So I had a big pile of these, and this is so this was like a special offer for people who were there, and you could get a free mini skein with every 100-gram skein you bought, which is a lovely offer from Maniototo wool. It's 100% finest quality wool yarn, and it's 100% New Zealand made. So that's their logo there, and the website address is on screen.
Nana Cindy.
Ah, Nana Cindy, yes. She's one of your most ardent followers now, isn't she? So you've got a little key ring here from Nana Cindy with a stitch mark on it. You can. So what you can do is, if you don't want to use this as a key ring, you can take this little split ring off, and you've got a little sheep stitch mark.
Oh yeah, what a good idea.
Cute.
It really is.
It's cute. Adorable. Really, it looks like a little cloud on legs, but that's basically what sheep is as well. So that's Nana Cindy, at Cindy Walter, at nanacindynz.co.uk. Oh, another Maniototo one. I didn't pack this bag. I swear I didn't put two in each one.
No, but that was this is my other one.
Oh, is that your one?
No, well, either, yeah.
That's yours then.
Thank you.
Then, now, here from the Yarn Queen, there was a prize draw as well. So these are now out of date, but I want to just because Cannes is over, but I just want to sort of showcase everyone who was doing generous things for people there. This is the Yarn Queen there, and her stuff is really, really lovely. Yes, now, oh, vintage pearls. Oh, vintage pearls. Now, these are the same, aren't they?
They're very lovely.
Mine's got a sweetie in it. Yours? Have you eaten the sweet? Yours is open, Samantha. Mine has a sweet in it. So vintage pearls, as I say, is Morag. You're going to be hearing lots about Morag in a minute. But as yours is open, let me grab the yarn out of yours. There, sorry about the wrinkles. There we go. So this is vintage pearls, and what's the base here? What is it saying? It's oh, this is really nice. It's 70% New Zealand Polwarth. Polwarth, of course, is the cross between the Romney and the Merino. She was really, really lovely. And they started in a farm near Melbourne. And of course, there's now Polwarth here in New Zealand as well. It's 20% silk and 10% black merino. So being the black merino, you can see the richness of the colour there. Of course, it's been dyed on top of a darker greyer base. Really, really lovely. Morag's colours, it's so solid, yet there's a little bit of heathering there, which I think, as we all know, adds to a bit of tonal texture and depth to it. But Morag's colours are stunningly beautiful. Look, it's almost like electric, sort of ultraviolet purple, isn't it? And how could she possibly have known, Sam, what your favourite colour was?
I have no idea.
That's a very, very generous gift to have in a goodie bag, because there's one in everyone's bag, and it's maybe it was just these bags. I don't know what was just the special bags for this one, or what was for everybody. I think these may be just for our special people. But Morag is wonderful. I really can't thank her enough. Oh, look what you might have there. Sam's got some sock. I didn't know you had any of that. Did Marie give you that?
Yeah.
Some Sock Magician Edition yarn. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I now know what the full composition is. Then there's lots of things like this. I've got a pink stitch counter. What colour's your stitch counter?
I think mine was pink as well. I don't know what it's on.
I don't know who this came from. I'm assuming this is just one of the skeins things. Sorry, one of the can things. To me, they're both Marie, and they're not interchangeable at all. They are different. So that's that. One of the things that we're... Oh, you've got pink as well. Oh, yeah, it's from Can. One of the things that we both got, which were really very, very useful, but I swear to God, Sam... little notions pouch. There's all sorts of things in here. There's stitch markers, clippy markers, there's a thimble, there's a tape measure, there's needle ends for saving your work, there's 3 cable needles, there's some stitch holders, which I'm going to find very useful because I don't actually have any stitch holders. There's a darning needle, there's a thing for cutting, you know, in machine sewing stuff, you can cut all the yarn out of it. There's little cutters in there. I can give you those back. Mine have been in my hold luggage, and when we flew here, Sam's hand luggage got stopped, searched. No, these are what I'm looking for. I'll show you what they are. I mean, Sam can't.
Very awful.
Oh, it's all taped up.
It's all taped up.
I can't even
Looks like a little mini pair of
Yeah, little snips that you presume, but they've actually got quite sharp blades, and they're quite large. You might be able to see it's that size in its little case. That was very funny. But you can have that one when I'm done, because I've got my cutters as well. What have you got here? Ooh, Fibre to Go. Have I got some of those as well? Yes, I have. So let's do those together. Now, Fibre to Go is Lynn. Lynn Walsh. I'm going to talk more about Lynn as well in a minute when I've got some more stash enhancement stuff to do. But these lovely little stitch markers. There's little rainbow versions of clippy things and all sorts of things going on. Fibre 2, the number 2 Go, that is. It's fibre2go.co.nz, and we've got those, and I've got some of those as well, which is very nice. Thank you, Lynn. What have I got here? Oh, look, a little thing of stitch markers and hand-knitted labels that you can put on something to tell. Oh, that's really cute. Little cardboard labels that you can attach to something that you've knitted as a gift, that you can say hand-knitted and present to someone, and there's a few stitch markers in there and some nice things there. I haven't even seen that. I don't think I've delved that deeply into my bag. Have you not?
No.
Why don't you have those?
No, because I've got lots
of those.
now. You're very kind.
You have those. My hand luggage is heavy. It's not generous at all. There's nothing altruistic about that. But there's another Yarn Queen prize draw. I may have had 2 of those. Thank you, Yarn Queen. and then, that was yours.
Technically now, yes.
That is yours because you gave yours to Karen's friend.
Who gave you?
Who gave me my... We were given these lovely little badges, and there's a range of them, and I've got a little rainbow unicorn there, which is kind of cute, but not particularly me, I have to say. However, there was... Oh, I need to go and get Edgar, thank you. There's a rainbow enamel pin in it, and I loved it, and I did a swap, and I can now complete the swap by giving that to you.
Thank you.
And lightening my hand luggage. What else have you got?
Well, that's pretty much, we had all pretty much the same. I don't know whether you've seen these two.
So
this is acquired an awful lot of very wonderful yarn.
This is Fibre Alive. Well, this is James's, isn't it?
Yes.
James Herbison, who...
Our new big brother.
Oh, haven't had a chance to talk about James Herbison yet. Do you know what? I'll hold that until we get on to the South Island part of the tour. So this was also in Sam's bag, which is the Muiraki from Happy Go Nitty. It's alpaca, corridel and nylon. It's you've seen me talk about this before because this is from Happy Go Nitty from Hillian, and this was one part of the package that she sent over to me that I talked about originally. But look at that lovely, lovely colour, sort of grassy, liney green. It's really, really nice. It's probably looking a little bit brighter on screen. It's a much more muted, much more, it's a softer tone in life. It's really, really lovely. And so that's from Hillian as well. And it's lovely. It's the Corriedale has got a bit of a, it's got a denseness to it. The alpaca gives it the squidge, and the Corriedale gives it a bit more bounce. So it's kind of got the two counteracting together. It's got it's quite a hairy yarn. It's got a lot of guard hairs poking out on it, so it's going to bloom quite nicely. And because of the nylon in the base as well, it's good good sturdy sock weight yarn. There we are.
Can't show you the ball band on that.
Can't show the ball band on this one, but I know exactly what it is. This is from Ian Hitch, who is manned. I bought this for my sister as a gift, and it's purple.
How could you guess my favourite colour?
She does love a bit of purple. Show your socks, please. Yes, you see. It all goes very nicely. So this is 100% New Zealand wool, and Ian's colours are hugely saturated and rich like that, and it was absolutely gorgeous. This is the DK weight, so it's called an 8-ply in New Zealand. It's not necessarily 8 plies, which I learnt about at the tour of the mill, which you've already seen. Now, what's on the end of this ball of yarn, Sam?
Well,
for someone who's just been knitting for 2 weeks, she's rather taken to it.
It's the beginning of a second.
Yes, so Sam is making a glove, and when we were standing, I'd given her this one. She said, "Oh, what can I make with this?" And she said, "I want some gloves." Vanessa, who is what's the full title here? I'm going to get this one. Hanging Rock Roost. I get the wrong word. Hanging Rock Roost, not Hanging Roost Rock, which I always want to say. Hanging Rock Roost. Vanessa gave Sam. She ran to her stall and came back with this printed pattern. Look at those lovely gloves, aren't they gorgeous? So this texture here is done, what are they called? Innis mitts. Yeah, just lovely. And actually they look kind of complicated, but they're a great beginner knitter pattern, aren't they? You haven't struggled at all with that. And look, apart from the thumb, we've got a half object. So come well close, the dots over that side. There you go. So can you see that texture on there? It's absolutely beautiful.
The lump is me.
Yeah, you get it. Sam made she wanted longer gloves, so she's made a little bit of a modification already. Outrageous behaviour. So she wanted longer cups, so we ribbed it for a bit longer. And then this is done here. These little horizontal ridges here, it's done with something called smocking stitch, where you pull yarn. You basically go in between a stitch, several stitches across, pull a loop through, and it draws together. That's not cables. I assumed that was cables when I saw the pattern, but that zigzagging is just done by the smocking stitch, pulling the ridges of the ribs together. It's really, really simple, and Vanessa's done a great job. It's a well-written pattern, isn't it?
Well, I followed it easily enough.
And you had plenty of time here on your own without anyone to ask for help, so you've done brilliantly with that. I'm so impressed. What else have you got in your bag?
Well, my first finished object.
Sam's first FO.
It's a piece of double knitting.
Of course it is.
I have to admit, it was completed in the 3rd class of demystifying double knitting.
Clearly, not a very good teacher.
Not because he's not a good teacher. It's purely because I've never done any knitting at all.
So you've never
done
any
about
colour
3
work?
days after I started knitting.
Well,
so I have a little...
You haven't woven in your ends yet?
I haven't woven in my ends. Nobody's told me how.
At the end of the class, I don't will do.
By which time my brain was in a pool in the middle of the floor. It wasn't working.
Look at this. Isn't it just fabulous? Sam has got a little chocolate banana heart. It's really lovely. And it's really soft and gorgeous. This is the Knit by Numbers as well.
But
so
I
it shows lots of
classes
different...
so much but I also went to the Strantarsia classes.
You did. Strantarsia, if anyone doesn't know yet, is a technique that I've devised myself, although I've recently found out that it might have been done before. I have to check out and see whether it's the same. But Strantarsia is a method of putting a patch of stranded colourwork into a project that's worked in the round, where the colourwork doesn't go all the way round. So Sam made a little phone cosy. It's got this little snowflake on the front, and it's not, crucially, on the back. So let's have
I haven't woven those in either.
Let's have a look at Sam's backside.
Not bad
at all, not bad at all. So Sam has never done any colour before. She's now done some You've been knitting for 2 weeks in a day, and you've done some Strantarsia, which is essentially fair isle colourwork, but other stuff going on. So some of it's fair isle and some of it's not. And you've done some double knitting, and you're doing some smocking stitch gloves, which are made to fit.
Oh, and but also I had to buy.
Yes.
At Cannes.
This is from Bleating Art Yarns. This is Alice who dyes this stuff. Hand-dyed yarn for passionate fibre files. Well, aren't we all? Look, exactly. Look at this. This is such a beautiful colourway, but it's not the main reason you bought it, is it? It is sumptuously beautiful, and it's called her left ventricle sock. It's machine washable, so it's super wash 4-ply. It's 80% merino wool and it's 20% nylon, so it's a good sock weight yarn, but it's got real loft to it. It's woolen spun, not worsted spun, so it's got that real sort of bounce to it. And the colours are so beautiful. There's reds and pinks and browns and yellows and oranges, and some of it sort of fades a bit to green and rust, but it's mostly this grey, smoky, black and white texture on it. Now the colourway is called 1931, and that's really important because in 1931 Napier was flattened by a massive earthquake followed by a huge fire. Talking to our friend Fiona, who lives in Napier, travelled all the way around the world to see a friend, actually ended up in the same town that she emigrated to 2 years ago. She was telling us that not only did the earthquake flatten everything, but the gas main was fractured, which caused a huge fire, and the water main was also fractured, so they had no access to putting it out. The whole town was destroyed. Everything was rebuilt, and this is why, out of the ashes, phoenix-wise, Napier was rebuilt in the 1930s, so the whole of the town is this beautiful Art Deco heaven, because everything was rebuilt in what was the modern design ethos of the time. But Alice has done such a beautiful, beautiful job. So it's Bleating Art Yarn is Alice's name, and it's just so lovely. So what we decided, well, I didn't have anything to do with this. Marie suggested that Sam make a hitchhiker. I don't need to tell you what a hitchhiker is.
Well, I was after a shawl too, and I liked hers. She had a hitchhiker,
exactly.
So it would be relatively simple to do.
Perfect, beginners. So obviously it's Martina Baines' pattern hitchhiker, free pattern on Ravelry. Go ahead and get it. You know, you've all made thousands of hitchhikers. But this was the limited edition, and they're all gone. And it's only one skein of yarn. And I was saying to Sam, I think because it's such special yarn, you don't want it to be a little sort of hankyette style shawl. You want to make something more substantial out of it. Alice also had this, which is called Chimney Sweep. So again, it's a kind of appropriate, all sooty embers. And so we're going to put this together. Oh, well, I'm having nothing to do with it. Sam's going to do it, Sam's going to stripe sort of a chunk of Hitchhiker in this one and a chunk in that one. So you're going to get these bands of 1931 and Chimney Sweep going across. Now it looks on screen oddly like this is a bluer colour than this. It's not really. They work together incredibly well. The greys are very, very similar. So that it feels so soft and lovely. It is utterly gorgeous. So you've done well on that front. Is there anything else in there that you need to be talking about?
Well, I mean, if we're on yarns now, because of my bit of yarn, obviously Nathan will talk about, no doubt, a lot more his own range of yarn, and of course 2 of the colours in it are my favourites, purple and green. When we went to stay with James Ferguson, who looked after us so wonderfully, you haven't done all this yet.
We're going to talk about that next.
But all the while we were there, James had some sock matician yarn on his needles and was beavering away, and was coveting every stitch, and I kept saying, "So how are you doing that?" And how, because I wanted one, and I thought, I know the answer, Nathan would give me, knit it yourself. So I thought, right, I better find out how I can knit this and do this. And he was oh yeah, it's easy enough. Let's do that. And then on the day that we left, he presented to me a cowl in Sockmatician yarn that he had always intended to be mine.
Which is why he chose those colours in the first place.
And it's absolutely stunning.
It's for anybody who can't see what the pattern is. It's a stranded design in James's signature stitch, isn't it? He does this all the time. It's a 2-colour honeycomb. So you get the design going across the front is just cables. So it's like basically it's a 4x4 cabled, not cabled, 4x4 rib corrugated. So you've got 4 stitches of green, 4 stitches of purple, 4 stitches of green, 4 stitches of purple. But every 4th row, the 4 purple ones will split and cable into each other and then cable out again. And it's constantly doing this all the way up, and it means that the green pokes through in these little windows. It's a beautiful, beautiful texture. It being fair art, of course, stranded, it gives it a much thicker texture because James, his back is extraordinary. His floats across the back are so tidy. It's beautiful. In fact, you could wear this inside out and nobody would think that it wasn't meant to be like that. It's absolutely beautiful. But it's made my yarn by my friend for my sister. I love it.
All mine.
It's absolutely all yours. I'm envious. I'm going to knit something in that stitch myself because I really like it.
Oh, that Marie
You've got
gave
this. Marie gave some lovely green and purple yarn, and that's what she's used in her.
Determined to keep me busy.
And yeah, that's it. Oh, what we haven't discussed is Sam's new online persona. I jokingly, because Sam was with me in the classes at Cannes, and I was introducing, here's my sister.
On the very first day.
Yeah, I just jokingly, it just, I don't know, it popped into my head. You know, I like to play with words, and I was being a bit silly. And I said, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm Nathan Taylor, known as Sockmatician, and this is my sister. And Sockmatician, Sock my sister. And it stuck. Sam then joined Ravelry, and while she was thinking of a Ravelry name, chose Sock my sister, joined Instagram as Sock my sister, SOCKMASISTER, and has already got over 300 followers.
No pressure.
And is having a lovely, lovely time being able to share with everybody her whips and her stash and her progress and all the rest of it. So should we talk about South Island? Or let's talk about Helen's little gift as well. I haven't told that Helen, who was one of the people who came to see me for the day with, makes these adorable little things. Why don't you describe her in there, and I'll go and get Edgar.
Right. Well, I haven't named her yet because I had said that my granddaughter Renee would probably love to have her, never thinking it would be a gift. Helen immediately said, well, she must have her and must give her. But she's absolutely delightful. She's got, you can see her little blue eyes. She's even got a little flesh colour nose when you get up close enough. The detail is so, so beautiful. And it's all this hair attached to the back, all in the crinkly wool, which I'm sure Nathan would know more about. But it just delightful. And she did so many of the little figures. There were all the Beatrix Potter figures. There were, Room on the Broom figures, the witch and the frog and the dog and the cat.
You've got that photograph, it's
I've got
here.
that photograph. And, she was delightful. She had so many different ones.
The detail is lovely, because if you look, the fish part of it is all done in pearl stitches, which gives the effect of scales, which is much different texture from her stocking stitch skin. I'd only sort of really noticed that and thought, oh, that was a very conscious choice. Very, very. I mean, she's tiny. Look, she's literally tiny. She's no bigger than my nose. You were saying I would know about this. I don't know much about the technique, but I think what she's just done is she's just unplied some yarn.
Okay.
So it's been twisted around, so you get the twists in it. I think that's all she's done there, which is, again, really, really lovely. And she also gave me one as well, a little mouse. And he's called Edgar. He's just so adorable. I love him. Look, his little ears are pink on the inside. He's got a very cheeky, mischievous face. I named him Edgar because that's his name. And he's got hands, and he's got little ridges on his jumper, and he's got his tail. He's just adorable. So I think that Edgar is going to be very, very friendly with Stuart and Aloysius. I think they'll adopt him and take him in, and we can do that when we get home. So that was basically Cannes, wasn't it? And
well, that was a snapshot of.
Yeah,
we have to talk to you for 4 days about Cannes.
I know. So we went down to the South Island, and when we met James at the airport, when he met us at the airport, you may have seen something that's sitting behind Sam, but I was greeted at the airport by this. This is extraordinary. Sorry, Sam. Bye. Bye, Sam. This is absolutely extraordinary. James, I had seen James knitting some rainbow stuff. The edges, it was. This is all intarsia. This isn't knitted around that way. This is knitted this way, and again in James's signature honeycomb stitch there. What he's done is not only has he knitted the rainbow, and of course it's the 6-striped Pride rainbow flag, quite right. He's knitted my name into it, but he's also knitted Socmatician into the bottom. But if you look very carefully, that ain't just the letter Socmatician. It's my damn logo. Well done, James. He's got the brand new little O there, the double kick on the bottom of the K, the 2 different A's, the 2 different I's, and the double stripe across the top of the T for equality. He's just done an amazing thing, an amazing thing. And it's heavy and it's good. And I keep calling it a blanket. He says, it's not a blanket, it's tiny. I said, it fits on my lap. It's a lap blanket. It's very nice. So you'll be seeing much more of this over the years. I think it's going to become a staple part of my sofa setup for when I'm at home doing the podcast. So James, you're just brilliant. James had organised so much stuff for us. I don't know where to start. I can't even remember what we started with. We went... Oh, jet boat ride.
Jet boat ride, that was the first day, wasn't it?
So we did the jet boat ride, which looks a little bit like this. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. We had so much fun doing it. Nick, who was
I wasn't sure my hair would ever recover.
Nick, who was our pilot ride of the day, he clearly has a death wish. He would go straight towards this like submerged, half-submerged log, and people start screaming. Just at the last minute, he'd swerve away, but the nose would still be pointing at the thing as we went past it. It was like,
rear-wheel drive.
Terrifying, yeah, terrifying. And also, we went down the Shotover River as well,
We did.
which is at some point 15 centimetres deep. That's all. And our boat, which had 15 people in it.
At least,
yeah, about that. So 4 rows of 3, I don't know, something like that. And Nick at the front would be like bombing over these gravel beds. It was amazing, absolutely extraordinary. Then that evening, we went on the gondola. Lovely time up there.
The meal was magnificent.
Yeah, big buffet style meal, so you could get anything from any. At one point when we were up there, James made me laugh so much. He said, and they've got teriyaki ice cream. I was like, okay, when in New Zealand, teriyaki. I've tried olive oil and salt crystal ice cream. That's quite nice. I was going to give it a go. What he meant was teppanyaki. I didn't even have any. I was laughing so much. I had about 5, maybe
7.
8 puddings, which were gorgeous. It was fantastic. So we were up and down there, which was amazing. And then the next day was the baths.
I think you had a class.
I had a class
at some point.
At some point I had some classes. They were kind of incidental. We were staying in Off Plum Cottage in Arrowtown,
I hope you will put a photograph.
Yeah, that's here, right on the screen now. Look at that wallpaper, ladies and gentlemen. And not just the wallpaper, the curtains, the sofa, the bag that helps for your plastic bags to put in. Tea towels, they're all made from the same fabric and the same pattern.
You know what was the most worrying thing?
What?
The following day you woke up and you realised you got used to it.
Yeah, eye jangling, totally, but I liked it. The rest of the cottage was all plain white.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So they'd made a real statement out of that room, and it was great. It was lovely, and it's called Off Plum Cottage, and this was the sign outside. Very nice indeed. But then this was the view. Arrowtown and Queenstown, very close to each other, but Queenstown is on the lake, surrounded by the mountains, and these were the mountains around Arrowtown as well. Just absolutely stunning. It was kind of like Welcome to Middle Earth. It's the New Zealand that you kind of come to New Zealand to see, really, isn't it?
To be honest, we hadn't seen a great deal of it, because although we saw a little bit of Napier, we'd been inside hotel rooms and conference rooms, and we hadn't done a great deal of exploring. So it was the first time we really got to see the great outdoors.
Exactly.
It was wonderful.
And flying into Queenstown is special as well, isn't it? Because you're flying in between two ranges of mountains. It's really quite amazing. So that was that. And then we went into the hot bath.
The onsen.
The onsen bath. So James had organised an hour for us, and the three of us just sat in this hot bath.
No,
overlooking.
We played silly.
We played silly buggers, but it was fun. We did lots and lots of things. Stuff I can't talk about.
No.
But we did have one picture of Sam as a 1930s bathing beauty.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Doesn't she look marvellous? Look at those lallies. So that was all glorious, and the view was stunning. It was over the Shotover River, which we'd been jet bombing through the day before. So then after that, what was that in the
Then we were very busy again. It was onsen.
The dinner? The lake cruise.
It was the paddle steamer.
Paddle steamer. So this was amazing. We went on this paddle steamer, which was beautiful, called the Lady of the Lake, which I really love, of course, because of my Spamalot history, and that's rather marvellous. Beautiful boat, and we did some silly things at the front, doing the whole Jack, I'm flying, and we went across the lake to this beautiful place where we had another lovely buffet dinner. It's quite a thing there, wasn't it? The big buffet. So basically, you just pile your plate high with everything you want. It's amazing, and the quality and the variety of the food was fantastic. And then we were all corralled out to this little outside auditorium for a farm show.
I had no idea.
James didn't even know. Sheep shearing and dog running, and here's a little bit of it now. I hope you enjoy it.
Now, we've domesticated sheep for so long now that they actually need our help to get rid of this wool. If we don't shear them, the wool just keeps growing, more likely to get things stuck in it, and that can lead to skin infections. They get to build up of feces under the bum there, and especially as you head into your spring and summer months, that's going to attract a lot of flies, and cause fly strike, all that horrible stuff. So we don't want that. So we shear the pregnant ewes first, and it makes it easy and cleaner for them to have their lambs, and then we'll shear the rest of the sheep after that. And then we'll tail the lambs at about 4 weeks of age, wean the lambs off their mums roughly 12 weeks of age, and then we'll send a lot of those merinos back up into the hills again for the rest of the spring and summer, where they'll just graze away. The Pyrenees don't like the high country, so they're always up in the valley, because they prefer flat plains, rolling hills, that sort of thing. But just having the two different sheep just gives them that variety. These are my moccasins, and they're just going to help give me a wee bit more control over my sheep as I move around, because non-slip, and they keep my feet a wee bit flatter on the ground, quite grippy on the top. Use your feet to move the sheep around a wee bit too, just helps with that as well. Right, coming in. They're not happy to see me. They see us as a threat. Okay? So off her feet, got control of her head. She's sitting in an unnatural, uncomfortable position. She doesn't know what to do. She sort of just sits there. But that's good. That's what we want. The last one I did, she was a very stiff sheep, didn't want to move with me. Hopefully this one will be a bit better. There we go. Haircut for the year, all done for this one.
So that was fun. and I picked up some of the fleece here. Now, I've done a little bit of spinning before. You can see all the locks hanging together here. This is a Pirindale fleece. I like the smell. I don't know whether you like the smell.
I probably can't smell
That's it. Give it a go. Does it smell sheepy?
It doesn't smell sheepy. Yeah.
Sam hasn't grown to love sweet sheepy smells yet. Honestly, it comes. Once upon a time, I would have thought that was horrible, but I really love that smell now. And you can see all the locks. There's a bit daggy. There's probably lots of VM in it, and vegetable matter. Put that there. I'll leave that later. I'm hoping I can fly with this, because I'm flying to from New Zealand to Australia, and obviously there's lots of biohazard, biodiversity constraints, so like bringing things from these particular two countries. I don't know whether I will be able to get this into Australia. I'll declare it, obviously, and so hopefully I'll get home. I'm not going to spin this. I'm going to give it to a friend of mine, my friend Dan, who is a wonderful, wonderful spinner and knitter, and has become a very, very good friend of mine recently. Look at the little crimping on there. It's just looks like the vein on my forehead when I'm really stressed. When I was writing a book. So yeah, hopefully that will make it home so that Dan can have some of that. I don't know if there's much for him to do anything with it. He's a keen-stranded knitter, so he'll be able to just put a little accent on it, and I think he'll get a big thrill out of knowing that he's done everything to it, apart from shear it off the sheep himself.
Yes.
Or grow it himself. Push it out, shave it off. No. So that was that, and then.
We had a busy day planned, didn't we? And then we made it busier.
Yeah. What did we start with? We had to start with another class.
I had another class.
That was the Strantasia class, wasn't it, where you finished off yours?
Yeah.
And then we ran straight to the A.J. Hackett world's first and original bungee jump. Sam went first. Just, but brilliantly.
I nearly gave up. They had to take 2 passes at it. The first, I couldn't do it, and then it was like, well, it's now or never.
Sam's a Harley riding granny, just so you know. So she's a bit of a contradiction anyway. She's already jumped out of an aircraft too.
That was half my life ago.
Yeah. So you hadn't had the best half of it yet.
Yeah.
So Sam was so brave. She stood there, and at one point she was like, because he was counting you down, wasn't he? He was like, ready? Here we go, 3, and you went no. And you went, I don't think I can. And I think you were. I could see the look on your face. You were on the verge of tears, but I think you were more upset at the thought that you weren't doing it, and had resigned yourself to the fact that you hadn't done it and wasn't.
I was cross with myself.
Also, it was £100, and if you bought it, you don't get the money back. Was that a consideration at any point?
Not to be fair, no.
But then, he was great. The guy who was talking you through, he just calmed you down. I don't think he would have let you go. I don't think he would have let you back out completely.
Possibly not. He'd have given me a few goes at it. But the main thing was I wanted to know how quickly it was before you started to slow down.
Yeah, is it reaching terminal velocity?
30 seconds, you'll be in the boat. And I was like,
I can live through 30 seconds.
I can get through 30 seconds. Yeah. I can hold my breath. I can shut my eyes, whatever.
Yeah, if it's awful, I can pretend it's not happening for 30 seconds. Yeah. And it was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh my God, fantastic.
Amazing. And so Sam jumped, and my instinct at the top. I started. You may not have heard this. I started off by saying that we've been there for each other a lot. This is what happened, and it was encapsulated in Sam's jump. As soon as Sam looked like she was in trouble, and I could tell, I was on the bridge behind, and I wanted to go straight to her. And the guy was saying, "Please stay back." I wasn't harnessed in, so I wouldn't have been able to get to where she was. I wouldn't have tried, but I just wanted you to know that I was there.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you as well. So that was my instinct. And then Sam, as soon as she jumped, on her second bounce, you can't hear it in the film, but she yelled up and she said, "You'll be fine, Nathan!" Thinking about me. All I was doing was thinking about you, and all you were doing was thinking about me.
For each other.
Which is what we've always done, isn't it? And then it was my turn.
You were so brave.
Oh, I know, I wasn't.
And so
I was
elegant.
Terrified. You can't see it. I'm holding onto my bits down here because it to stop them from becoming, so I don't get 3 Adam's apples just thinking about it. It was truly terrifying, and I didn't realise I swore as well.
Oh, yeah.
So if you hear that on the video, I might have to take out the
Bleep
sound
them out.
anyway because
Yeah.
of the music. It's probably copyrighted music.
Might be.
So I'll probably have to mute that. But if you do hear it, I'm sorry if you hear the expletive. It's only a little one. It begins with S. We said the same one, didn't we?
We did. We share an expletive.
But we share a tattoo, we share an expletive, we share DNA.
Well, quite a bit, yeah.
I was really, really scared, and I didn't know that I would be able to do it. The only thing that saved me, and I can see watching yours back why you felt like you were going to fail because you looked down. I knew I couldn't. If I'd looked down, I would never ever have done it.
It didn't worry me, the looking down.
Oh,
it was just the jumping off. I knew how high it was going to be. Looking at it didn't change it. It was just actually having to step off a perfectly reasonable bridge.
Yeah, a bridge that you could walk off with your feet and go back the other way. Why wouldn't you? I did it. I leapt, and here it is. It was amazing, truly amazing. Once I got through that first lurch, that bounce back, where honestly I felt that the contents of my abdomen were trying to make their way into my skull. I saw stars. I don't know if you did. On my first lurch, as I came back up, because all the blood had gone to my head, I literally saw stars. But then after that, after the first fall and that first lurch, it was the most freeing, exhilarating and liberating feeling, because you start to swing. You're not just bouncing up and down, you're swinging backwards and forwards. And I could have swung backwards and forwards like that all day. I now want to be a man on the flying trapeze. I want that to be my life. I wanted to arch my back all the time, and I wanted to be free like a bird. I can't tell you how amazing it was.
Yeah.
It's just
It was very
extraordinary.
Wonderful.
So from there we then went to Highlands Racetrack, and we did this. It's just ridiculous. And now I'm at Highlands Racecourse here at Gasoline Alley. I'm about to go to the bathroom. Look, you see these cars over there? These amazing cars. Look at this. We're about to get in a Porsche and go around this racetrack. This is Highlands Racetrack. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, seatbelts are on?
Yep. There's the power.
Oh, yes.
What's the top speeds you can get around here?
In this car?
Yeah.
About 180, 190
Bloody hell.
kilometres, but it's not bad. It's not bad for a family wagon.
Wow.
Woo!
Woo!
Good for you. All I can think of is Top Gear and what's the fastest Yeah, where the lines are.
Yeah. Or some power under this engine. Yeah.
Have a V-twin.
Say hello to the aliens, everybody. Wave at the aliens.
Cool. Oh,
See you, those tips.
Oh, it's like the best roller coaster in the world. That was awesome.
So that was kind of amazing.
It certainly was.
Wow.
Oh,
Found
did
the
we forget
petrol
after
head.
when did we do the trike?
That
was the
next
following day. Oh, God.
So the next day after that, it was our last day, wasn't it?
It was our last
So
day.
we did
Another
we did a trike ride. Now the trike was amazing. It was a 5-seater trike, so the 3 of us in the back, an empty seat, and Andrew. Sam rather took a shine too. Just joking. Not really. He was taking. I think all 3 of us fancied it a bit. Didn't we? I think we all did. He was dead cool and he was lovely, and because it's one of these sort of bikes, but bikes like this, he was kind of like, he just had his one hand down here because there's a gear stick, but he's like, and he was just so cool. It was freezing cold by this point. We'd lost the weather, hadn't we?
it was very cold. Yeah.
And we made a friend.
Your duck.
Here he is. Just lovely. And then it was time to say goodbye. And then, oh no, we went to, Sam alluded to earlier, we went to Dunedin railway station.
We
the most
did.
photographed building in New Zealand apparently, which looks like this. And James had organised a knit in public day, so a lot of the people. Oh, we went for the knit night on the Thursday as well,
we
because
had the knit
university.
night,
Just kind of extraordinary
We
stuff.
remembered to eat and sleep and
We
breathe.
did both, yeah. And we are now in Wellington. So we flew from Dunedin up to Wellington day before yesterday. I had 2 classes yesterday with Holland Road Yarn, who is Tash Barneveld, who I nearly met in Edinburgh this year. We didn't manage to coincide, but I've met here, and she's absolutely lovely. She'd organised 2 classes. I think we had 16 people in the morning for the double knitting, and 12 for Strantasia, which is exactly the right balance of classes, because Strantasia can sometimes confuse people. It's nice to give people an opportunity for some individual one-on-one time, and that was at the ASB Sports Centre, which is huge. You should have seen it. It's massive. Sam's been a bit poorly.
Crook.
Been pushing through. Been pushing through all the stuff that we were doing with James, because you just couldn't have missed it.
Oh, no way.
But since we're staying here with Isabel, who is just our wonderful, gracious host, who's put us up, having never met us before, or doesn't know us, in all the other places that we're staying with the people who are hosting the classes, so the people who have a vested interest, I guess, in us being there. But Isabel has been so kind, she just said, yeah, come to my house. And this is where we are now, in Isabel's house in Wellington, overlooking this fantastic view. This afternoon we're going to the Weta Cave, which is the...
which we'll need to do fairly.
We do, yes, we're going to have to wrap this up. But the Weta Cave is, what's it called? The Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings stuff, all the studio
Avatar
things. Oh, it's Avatar as well, of course it is, yeah. I didn't realise that. I'm really looking forward to that. So I think I'm just going to talk now about a few bits and pieces of other things that I've got, and then we'll wrap it up. Do you need to go and get ready to go?
I
Do you
need
want
to
to
go
sit here
make
and
myself look lovely. Yes, I'll leave you to
go
it.
and glam your hair up? Thanks for coming on the podcast, Sam. Thanks for coming to New Zealand, and thanks for being my sister.
Thanks for being my brother.
We're not saying goodbye. We're going to see each other in 5 minutes. We are having the most amazing time. It really is extraordinary. So, going back to all the lovely things that I've had already, that I've already seen, I was given some beautiful, beautiful bags. Look at this, it's a Buzzy Bee bag. This came from Dell. Dell, thank you so, so much. It was so lovely. It's the cheeriest, happiest bag in the world, and I really, really like it. I'll put that there because there's some stuff in it that I want to show you in a minute. And then Megan, who is Auntie Nana NZ, Megan gave me this. I love it. I love it so much. Look, it's got little kiwis all over it. Aren't they just adorable? And I've got a knitting product in there, which I'm not actually going to show you because this is going to run long otherwise. Then, what have I got here? Oh, this was from James. This is when we arrived in Dunedin. This was my goodie bag from James. So there's a Oh, this was not from James. This was a gift from. I didn't catch your name. I'm so sorry, but a lovely lady who took one of my classes, and it's a little notebook that she's made the book cover for herself with all sorts of New Zealand stuff on it. It's really lovely, and do you know what? It's going to come in so handy. So handy, because I need a day book when in my office life at home, and I'm really bad at keeping notes and making lists and stuff. And this is going to be it, and it's going to sit next to my computer, and I'm really going to get good use out of it. So, although I don't know your name, please, I hope you're watching this, and thank you so much. It could not come at a better time. In my goodie bag, James had put this fantastic T-shirt. Look at this. 2 skulls with rainbows, well, a skull with rainbow popping out of it from one side to the other. And this is, it's Hell's Pizza, I think it's called. I'll find out for sure. There's a company in the South Island who are doing a fantastic initiative with Rainbow Youth. So all 100% of the proceeds of this goes to Rainbow Youth, which is amazing. LGBT young people thing. The only hell I'm going to, Hell's Pizza. It's brilliant. It's really lovely, and I'm looking forward to, I haven't worn it yet, but I'm going to wear that probably as I travel up to Auckland via New Plymouth. A crazy Kiwi sheep, Kiwi as in New Zealand, New Zealand sheep tea towel, which is lovely. A matching shower cap. Which matches the bag. Oh, he's nuts. James, you are genuinely nuts. Got some hand sanitizer, which is good because sounds a bit ill. Some Rotorua mud soap from New Zealand, which is fabulous. This, do you know what this is? It's a kiwi tool. Kiwi fruit. So you can cut it open with that side, and then use that side to scoop out the flesh. Well, I love kiwi fruit. Well done, James. You did that so well. Some I Love New Zealand stickers. Sorry, Ben. My husband has a phobia about stickers. Some Dunedin postcards. A scratch card. I haven't done a scratch card. I might be a millionaire. Let's do that right now. Let's do this on the screen. So I don't know what I have to do. Game 1. I have to match things, I guess, but I don't know what I have to... I guess I have to get 3. What does it say here? Scratch and scan barcode, only reveal barcode after purchase. See back for how to play. Scratch each symbol in games 1 to 6. Reveal 3 identical symbols in any game to win the corresponding prize for that game. Okay, so I've got 2, 2 and 1, so that's no good. Game number 2. 2, 2 and 1. Nothing so far. Oh, James, have you given me a dud? 2, 1, 1 and 1. Boo. 2, 2 and 1. No. No. And no. Well, it was fun while it lasted. And then I got a Rotorua mud mask as well. I'll only used half of it. A little notebook called Too Glam to Give a Damn. Well, it's not for me to say, really, is it? Then there's... I've got another Knit August Nights thing that fell in from the other bag. And then a pen, which has got a kiwi on it and some lovely New Zealand symbols. So James, you're just brilliant. You did all of that and you didn't need to at all. And I love that. And James has been so wonderful at giving us all of these things. He wouldn't let us pay for anything. We managed to sort of fool him and pay for some meals and things like that. But he's done everything, and we just didn't get a chance to. Sorry about that. Lost storage. I just transfer a few things off the phone. What else then have I got stash-wise that I want to share with you? While I was at Cannes, look at these. Oh, remember I mentioned Lynn just a while ago. Lynn is Fibre to Go. This is she's just wonderful. This is Italian made, and it's a primo fine merino. It really is so soft. She had 2 types of merino there. There's sort of standard merino, which is your lovely soft stuff, and this, which has an even finer micron count. She did tell me what it was. I can't remember. I may find out. If I do, it'll be on screen here. But look at these colours. I don't know what the colourways are. It doesn't say. They're just gorgeous. This wonderful, rich, mustardy gold, which is fantastic, and this really deep, dark, like teal and black mixed together. Tack. No, it's not tacky. It's bleal. Bleal. This is that's coloured bleal, and I love it. They were hanging next to each other on the installer. She was packing up because I was just trying to chat to her at the end of the day. She'd been in one of my classes. We hadn't really had a chance to connect properly, and I was just going, "Oh my God, your stuff is so beautiful." This genuinely is the softest merino I think I've ever, 100% merino, nothing else in it, but it's so soft, I don't think I've ever felt anything quite like it. I said, of course, is it just coincidence they're hanging next to each other because all the blues were going one way and all the oranges were going the other? I said, obviously there's got to be a cut-off point. She went, no, it's not coincidence. She's not stupid. And I said, well, they're coming home with me, and I put my hand in my pocket and she just pushed them at me and said, no, I want you to have them. I said, no, please, let me pay for them. She said, no, I won't. I said, let me at least pay for one. And she said, no. I really did try. I promise I did try. But Lynn, they are absolutely beautiful, and I love them so much. Really very lovely indeed. And what else did I get while I was at Canada? Oh yes, well from Orange Tail Fibers, which is Virginia. Oh gosh, Virginia, these look. So orange tail, it's proper gold, and this is actually a single. I didn't realise it was a single, and I don't mind at all, although I don't usually knit with singles. I wanted to pair it with it, because again they were next to each other on the stall, and it just looked so beautiful together. So I don't know what they're going to be yet, but look at it, it's just gorgeous. So this is called Dr. My Eyes, or Dr. My Eyes, and this is called Golden Slumbers. Just so lovely. This one is 100 grams, it's 366 metres, 100% merino, and this one is also 100% merino, but it's not a single. That's this one here. It's 100 grams, 338 metres, so this one's a little bit thicker. And again, did I say that 100% merino? Called Dr. My Eyes. Just so beautiful. And Virginia was so much fun to be around to meet her. She also works at Skeins, it's just fantastic. Look at those colours, just glorious. And then Ian, from whom I had bought Sam's purple skein of yarn, who was so lovely, we spent lots of time together over dinner and things like that, he then pressed this little set of 6 minis into my hand. Ian, thank you so much. This is Ian Hitch, who is Man-Made Fibre. Follow him on Instagram, look at him on Etsy. His stuff is so lovely, his colours are so gloriously rich and so beautiful. And this is, you know, every rainbow is different, because everyone in the rainbow community is different as well. But this rainbow is very, very lovely indeed, and I really like it. I really like it. I want to make all the things in rainbow colours at the moment, for obvious reasons. Ian, thank you. That was really very much appreciated. And I'm starting to feel guilty now. Every time I want to compliment somebody on something and say, oh, that's really wonderful, you've done a lovely job, they give it to me, and I promise I'm not doing it for those reasons. I promise I'm starting to feel uncomfortable about saying lovely things because people don't want to give them things to me, and this is what happened with this bag. It's the cutest thing ever. Look at that lovely, lovely, gorgeous. This was Prue in one of my classes, and she was knitting out of this, and she said a friend of hers had made it for her, but had loved the pattern on it. And then she spoke to her friend that night and said that I said, oh gosh, my mum would love that. It's really gorgeous. Oh, the cat's cute, and I really love the little messy ones. Which one is I love these little scribbly cats here. Much more like me, really, really messy. And the next day she came up to me and she gave it to me because the lady who made it said that I should have it. Prue, thank you. It's so lovely, and on the inside it's got a little cat's pocket in the blue fabric there. Really a very lovely thing. I just love that. Everything about this bag sings to me. Gorgeous. And then also at camp I bought this. This was also from Vanessa. Now Vanessa, who the gloves that Sam was just showing, this was on her stall, and it's a sort of a yarn bucket really, but it folds flat because it's fabric and it's got some stiff interfacing in the bottom, quilting stuff. But it's so striking, I really love it. And then you see the inside. Oh, isn't that amazing? So this is just going to sit on my desk, which is white anyway, and it's going to be all the yarns in it that I want to play. It's got a couple of pockets in it. Really, really beautiful. So this is Hand Rock. You know, I get it wrong every single time. Hand Rock Roost. Hand Rock Roost. I think, oh Vanessa, I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's here, and here's the website. Go to her stuff because she makes those amazing bags. This is an unusual one because it's geometric. A lot of hers are Japanese patterns and floral patterns and indigenous Kiwi animals and fauna, flora and fauna patterns. So really, really lovely stuff. But I just love it. It folds up completely flat, goes in the suitcase, bling bling bling, and it's just really, really lovely. So I bought that and I really like it. Then there was all that's been talked about, and then Morag, so Morag and Dunedin. After the class, she came up to me. Now, Morag, if you're watching, I think you're an extraordinary human being. I love your strength of character. I love your bluntness. Morag is one of those people who you just know where you stand with her. She's not rude. I don't mean that at all. No. This is all compliments. I really respect someone who can just be direct and just say things as they are. You know where you stand with Morag. I utterly adored you. I wish I could have spent more time getting to know you because I think you're wonderful. And I genuinely think your aesthetic for colour is beautiful. Morag is vintage pearls. So you've already seen the purple there. She gave me these at the end of the class. 3 skeins. 300-gram skeins, and I think they're all the same base. This is the sock. They might not be actually. This is Superstar, and this is sock. So the 2 sock bases are these. The purple, look at that, rich purple, and the green, which is 75-20, and sorry, 75-25, and Superwash New Zealand Merino and nylon, and really gorgeous. This colour is called Hartford, the purple, and this one is called Broadacre. Now this one, this Limea green, it's not as neon as it's showing on there. It's much more grassy green. So that's not the neon. I know might put people off. It's not that. It's probably more like that. That's much more accurate. Beautiful colour, and this is oh, that's why this one feels so lovely. This is 70% New Zealand Polworth, 20% Tussa silk, and 10% black merino. So this is the same base as this one. So don't they want to go together and be socks? Contrasting toes and heels? Maybe they do. So shawl or something like that, socks with that, just beautiful. Morag, your brain, the way you are, who you are, everything about you is wonderful. I loved you. Thank you so much. And then finally on the yarn front, I've done well on the yarn front. Went to Tash's shop, which is Holland Road Yarns here in Wellington. And when I got there, she gave me a bag with her own version of a rainbow in it. Now, Knitch, Knitsch, Knitch is Tash's own dyeing company. Her own, she's the dyer of that. And there's these 5 wonderful colours, so very, very unusual, not like the Pride Rainbow at all, but still a rainbow, definitely. 5 colours there, with 2 of this wonderful grey, which is gorgeous and beautiful. And this is 100% New Zealand Merino. It's a 4-ply fingering, and these are 50 grams each, so I've got 350 grams of this lovely, lovely rainbow. So, the Holland Road Yarn shop, if you don't know it in Wellington, go there. She's got wonderful stuff. She stocks Outlaw Yarns by Deb, who I met at Cannes. Outlaw have just a wonderful range of different bases and colours, which are gorgeous. Tash's own Knitch yarns, some of them are so beautiful. These obviously are too. There's one that was a grey that had sort of pink speckles, not speckles, smudges really on the skein. Really, really beautiful. It really seems to sort of zing and lift off. It was just on every level utterly stunning. The shop is just gorgeous in this weird sort of surf shop. The shop's upstairs. It looks like it might have one time been a swimming pool, but I know it wasn't. And there's so much stuff in it. She sells this gorgeous, like really super bulky plied stuff in the most zingy, vibrant rainbow colours. Tash always looks fabulous. She always wears bright colours. Usually I think that she's dyed herself. Look. Sam and I have been having the most wonderful time, and it's not over yet. I am 1/3 of my way through the trip. From here, tomorrow we drive up to New Plymouth, and we're going to be spending a couple of days with Leanne, and then we drive again from New Plymouth to Auckland. So we're going from the south of the North Island all the way up to the north of the North Island, and we're doing it in a car. And I'm really excited to see in a car rather than from an airport. And we drove with James. We drove 3 hours from Arrowtown to Dunedin, so it was lovely to see all of that stuff as well. And I've cut together a little bit of package for you along the way as well, which you'll already have seen by now. And just genuinely, the people here are so amazing. Sam said yesterday, I've not heard anyone raise a voice in agitation or aggression. I've not heard anyone be frustrated. I've not heard any mums yelling at children. I've heard parents dealing with their children by talking to them, rationalising them, and the children listen and behave. And I'm hearing people who are being nice to each other. So anyone in shops or restaurants or in tourist attractions, everyone's so friendly and going out of the way. For example, when I was flying from Napier down to Queenstown, my suitcase got damaged on the flight, and I pulled it off the baggage thing. One of the wheels had been punched in, so it was on 3 wheels, and it wasn't going to... I'm going around the world, I needed it. So I went up to the baggage services guy, and there's a lovely French man called Erwan, very handsome, I have to say, dealt with me so brilliantly. I didn't go in there. I just went in and said, that was my 2-minute warning. I went in and I just said, I'm really sorry, something's happened to my bag, it's broken, I'm going to need your help. Do you have a procedure for compensation or something like that? He said, we have better than that. He said, the quickest way to do that is, why don't you take one of our suitcases? And he gave me a suitcase which was actually worth probably about 3 times as much as my own. So really, really amazing, really great service. Everyone's been friendly and helpful, and I am loving my New Zealand experience. My friend Rich says that New Zealand saved his life. I can really, really see why. So I'm going to wrap this up now and go off and join Weta. Hopefully I get a chance to do this again before I leave. I'm heading from Auckland over to Melbourne and Sydney. There's all sorts of things planned there, and then I'm jetting over to San Francisco for Boat Knitting Live. So it's a whistle-stop tour around the world, Sock Petition Down Under, signing out while this podcast episode is a finished object. Remember, life is a work in progress. Just take it one stitch at a time. Doing a bungee jump definitely has proved to me that pushing through fear is less frightening than living with it, and we are only limited by the limitations we place upon ourselves. I believe these things wholeheartedly. It's been lovely chatting to you. Signing out over to the rest of New Zealand. Bye-bye. Mwah.